Hello, I'm Dr. Janet Six, Senior Product Manager at Tom Sawyer Software. And today we're going to talk about the different types of data visualization available in Tom Sawyer Perspectives. So first, let's talk a little bit about Perspectives and what it is. Perspectives is a SDK and low-code development platform, which is used to create graph visualization and analysis applications. And the Perspectives platform includes integrated design and preview interfaces and extensive API libraries that allow developers to quickly create custom applications that intuitively solve big data problems. So, how does Perspectives do that? So, first of all, we connect to data sources across an enterprise. These can be of many different types, including graph databases such as Neo4j or Neptune or other Tinkerpop compliant databases. We also connect with SQL databases, Excel, structured text, JSON, RESTful endpoints, and more. And so once we integrate with the data, we federate it together into a single graph model. And once we have the data in the graph model, we're able to process it with a set of rules and filters, transformations. And then we create interactive views of many different types. And so we're going to discuss today the different types of data visualization views, which are available in Perspectives. So today we're going to go over those 7 data visualization types. We're going to discuss the benefits of using filters and also synchronization across the data views. And we're going to have a demonstration on how to add search to your Perspectives application, as well as using the view layout feature in order to create dashboards. So first, let's talk a little bit more about the data visualization views, which are available in Perspectives. Perspectives has these 7 data visualization types. And as data grows larger and more complex, enterprises struggle to find effective techniques for understanding their data and identifying actionable intelligence, and also to communicate results and key findings in a clear way. So, with effective data visualization, enterprises are able to discover and act upon insights to optimize the performance of their system, reduce vulnerabilities, and create strategies in order to reach objectives. So, Perspectives is a highly performant platform to handle complex and big data. So we have 7 data visualization types, and we're going to go over each of those in detail. But here we see the different types. We have drawing views in order to see graphs. We have tree views, timelines, so we can see how the data is changing over time, tables, which are customizable. We have several types of map views, as well as inspectors in order to see details of the attributes of your data, and several types of charts as well. So here we see an example of a Perspectives application, which is used to investigate criminal networks. And we see here on the left side a tree view, which is showing us information about the incidents and where they occurred. And we have a drawing view here where we have focused in on a particular part of the criminal network, and we have found some key people that are in that network through graph analysis. We also have a synchronized map view so we can see where these people and their crimes were located. We also have the ability to use this timeline feature here so we can see the network changing over time, as well as having some charts to summarize and communicate key findings. So the Perspectives data visualization views, as we're going to see in our demonstrations here in a moment, we have synchronization across these views. So if you interact with the data in one view, you can see the results that are related in the other views as well. And these views themselves, they can be data-driven or rule-driven in order to show the information that you need for your particular use case. We also have the ability to do data editing and updating with the tools and the views, as well as an intuitive way to create and lay out your dashboard for your application. So now we're going to take a look at each one of the data views in more detail. So first, we're going to start with the drawing view. We're going to look here at our network editor application. And so we are looking at a computer network and an enterprise. And as you can see here, we have some elements that have a red X on them, meaning that they have some type of issue. And so with these visualizations, which are created automatically, the user can interact with them to find out more details about the issues that are happening in the system. So we can click on a particular element and you'll see how we have the synchronized data views. So I selected this problem element here in the drawing view, and we see that the same item was selected over here in the drawing view, as well as seeing more details over here for the attributes in the inspector, and also the synchronized view here in the table where we see the element in question as well. And you can see also a summary that this issue is occurring with this particular model element. Now, our drawing view is very advanced. And so we have, first of all, several layout styles. We are looking at the orthogonal layout. We also have bundle layout where we intelligently group edges together. And so this helps us to see graphs that are particularly dense and have lots of edges. We have circular layout, which works with the natural clusters, which exist in graph structures. Hierarchical layout, so we can see dependencies and flows in the graph. We also already looked at orthogonal layout when we started. And then we have symmetric layout, so we can see natural symmetries that are available in the graph. Okay, now you'll notice that some of the nodes have these different views. They have a different appearance, and that is based on the data itself. We're able to define a specific node UI that will tell us information about the underlying data. So in this case, at a glance, we can see which elements in our system are having a problem or have a caution on them. We also have an ability to see different levels of detail as we zoom into the element. So let's zoom in here a little bit more. And as we zoom in, we can see more detail. And if we zoom in further, we can see more detail still. Okay. So another thing that we're able to do with a drawing view is in order to apply nested drawings. So meaning that some of these graphs have a special connection to each other. In this case, we want to look and see which elements are in a particular building for a particular enterprise, and we want to understand which elements are located in the same building. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's apply nested drawings to our graph here. So I'm going to go to Settings, and I'm going to say to group by location. Okay, and you'll see that these nested structures have appeared. So things that are in a particular location are located together in a particular nested drawing. Now, if we want to, we can collapse these nested drawings and see a node just representing everything in a particular location. So let's do that. So I'm going to select, and we're going to collapse all. And so now we're seeing the backbone of our computer network. So we can do analysis at a high level in our system. And as we wish, we can go in and we can expand and explore certain parts of the network interactively or programmatically if we wished. Okay. So now this network application also has another view called the simple network view. Let me go ahead and take off the our our nesting here. But you'll see that this drawing looks a little bit different. We have another view with a different type of status given for our network elements. And you'll see here that we have these edge decorations. And so we're able to apply edge decorations, edge labels, node labels, and have all of them processed by our different layout techniques. So you can see exactly the amount of information that you need to see in your drawing view. It is tailored for your particular use case. All right. Okay. Now we're going to take another look at a different type of drawing. Here's, I'm going to bring over our fraud detection demo. So what we have here is an example application where we're doing investigation. We've run some background analytics. We've found potential fraud rings for our financial services company. And now we're sitting here in this application and looking as an investigator. We have a potential fraud ring and we want to find out, is this a fraud ring, and do we need further investigation? So first of all, I've pulled up one of the cases and we have a hierarchical drawing layout here in our drawing view, but it would be nice if we had a faster way to understand the information we have here. What's the categorization of our data that we're looking at? So we can press this button here on the toolbar and we can display these swim lanes. So now at a glance, we can see how many accounts are potentially involved in this fraud ring and how many phone numbers they're associated with, IP addresses, and so on. So we can see here that all of these accounts are only connected with 2 phone numbers, and that's somewhat suspicious. So we want to do some more investigation. So let's go ahead and select one of these accounts, and we're going to load neighbors. We want to find out which transactions have been conducted by this particular account. So I'm going to select load neighbors, and interactively we go to the database, we find out which transactions are associated with that particular account. And as you see, it loaded that information in, and it also changed the appearance of the nodes. And as we saw earlier in the network editor, we can have different graphics showing depending on how far you are zoomed in or out of the drawing view. So even though we have more information showing in our visualization, we still have very clear conveyance of the type of information we're seeing because we have different colors for the different types of data that we have. Okay, all right. I'm going to show one more drawing view here. And this is our goods production example. And you can see this that ships with perspectives. So we also have a lot of advanced capabilities in our layout techniques, and we'll have upcoming webinar on our layout techniques, but wanted to show a little bit more here while we're talking about the drawing view. So one of our advanced capabilities are what we call connectors. As you see here, we have these special connection points for the edges. We're able to have the connectors on a particular side if we want, or as you see here, this one, we have many edges connecting to it, so the connectors will grow automatically in order to appropriately contain all of the edges that are coming in. We can also nest connectors inside other connectors as well, and that's particularly useful for our system engineering clients who are modeling complex systems models such as airplanes and automobiles. So we have the advanced layout capabilities as well. So you can find more information about our layout styles on our YouTube channel. And we also have videos on our drawing views and how to create one, how to use drawing templates as well. And then we'll have an upcoming webinar to discuss more in depth about our different layout technologies as well. Okay, so let's go on to the inspector view here. So we're going to go to the task dependencies example. So in this example application, we're looking at project management for a large project, and we want to know what are the tasks that are being worked on, who is working on them, and more information about what's the expected duration and what are the tasks remaining. So when we click the inspector, like for example, I will click this one. And as you see, we have this synchronized views here. So when I click on a particular element, we're going to see the highlighting in the other views as well to see details about that. The inspector view is this one down here in the left bottom corner where we can see the detailed attributes for this data. We also can interact with the data itself through the inspector. So you can see here that we have estimates, our current estimate and original estimate. So let's say that during production, we're able to lessen the time needed for a particular task. So let's go ahead and do that. And so we're going to take that down to 3. So I'm going to change, I changed this estimate in the inspector. And as you can see here, that element automatically updated in our drawing view and shortened there as well. Okay. So now we're going to go and take a look at the next data visualization view, which is the tree. So I am going to bring over our commodity flow example. So here what we're doing is we're looking at a bunch of different commodities that are available from different states and of different types. So over here, we have several filters which are available. So we can say that we want to look for commodities that have a certain minimum range of production. And we have here in this tree view, the states available. So we want to study elements that are coming from a particular state. So let's look at things that are in the northeastern United States. So we're going to pick New York and Pennsylvania. Oh, and let's do Connecticut as well. And then over here in this tree view, we have many types of commodities that we can study. So let's go ahead and we're going to pick some of these and we'll select that. And we now want to query our database to find this information, these commodities from these particular states with these particular values as far as production levels. So we're going to interactively query. And now we have results here. You see how this tree view has updated, showing what we've studied, what we found in our results. And if we go through the other views here, you can see we now have results of several different types. We have our chart view here. We have a map view showing us where those commodities are located and how they're flowing between the different locations. You can see that we have different appearances for the edges given the amount of flow of the commodity from one location to another. And we also can see the logical view of this as well. And we have also finally a commodity flow table. So we're able to synchronize and show several perspectives into data, and the different views will give us different insights into the same data and exploration. Okay, so now we're going to go on to our next view, which is table. Okay, so here we're looking at an operations management example application, and we're wanting to understand who is working for who. So we have different kinds of layouts. We had a hierarchical layout. We also have here a orthogonal layout. You see, as we were able to use the space a little bit more effectively with an orthogonal layout, but we can see who works for who. And the table view that we have here in the middle. So we can see who is employed in the company, and at a glance, we can see what their title is, which department they're working in, as well as their location. So let's go ahead and we're going to select here. We select in the table and it takes us right to that spot in the drawing view as well. Okay. Now let's go and talk about our next data visualization view, which is charts. So we're going to go to our crime network example. And we have several different types of charts available. We're showing some of those here. We have um, bar charts, pie charts, column charts, spline charts, and area charts as well. And so we have a couple of those here in this particular crime network. So let's zoom in here a little bit. So we see here, this is the social network, meaning that if you have two criminals and an edge between them, they committed a crime together. And so while I'm in here in the drawing view, I'm going to press the space bar and activate our magnifier so we can see more details of our drawing view as we go through. We can also select elements as well. So I clicked that particular element in our social network, and you can see how information popped up in our inspector view over here. Then we have a summary here in this pie chart so we can see which types of crimes have occurred in this particular time frame that we're studying. So we see that summary here. And then over here, we have another chart showing us where did these occur, so we can see which precinct. We've studied these 5 precincts here in our particular investigation, and so we can see the ones that have the most activity as well. All right, so let's take a look at our next data view, which is the map view. So we're looking here at our retail network example. And so we have several views here that work together. What is it that we're looking at here exactly? So we're managing an IT network for a large retail company, and we want to see the tickets that we have, problems in our network, and where they're located. So we have over here in our tree view, we have the listing of our regions and our company and the particular locations where we have our retail outlets. Here we have our logical view of the computer network. And if we zoom in, similar to how we saw in the network editor, if we zoom in, we're going to see more detail as we zoom in to our particular drawing. And then we have our map view over here. So we see our geospatial location of where are these elements. So let's take a moment here to talk about the different types of map views because we do have several that are available. So I'll zoom in here a little bit into our network over here. So what are our different map views? So we have a Tom Sawyer Maps view, a Open Layers map view, and a Google map view. So what are the differences here? So with the Tom Sawyer map view, you're going to integrate the location-based information of the map with all the features and capabilities of a logical drawing view. And what that means is that users get to visualize a mix of physical and logical entities at the same time. So you can use nested drawings, you're going to have more toolbar interaction, all the tooltips, context menus, all of that you would expect to see in a drawing view, you can also do in a map view. The open layers map is going to use that open layers map capability. And so you can work with many types of map providers, such as OpenStreetMap or Stamen or Apple Maps, Mapbox. And this view will support marker and polyline view elements. So you can have markers and then the edges between those markers. Then we had the Google Map view, which uses the Google Map APIs. So you're again going to have marker and polyline support, so the markers and the connections between them. So which view do you use? Okay, so if you need more advanced features, such as you would find in a drawing view, such as nesting, having complex node UIs, having the ability to combine location-based information and logical information, then you're going to need that advanced layout and you're going to need that Tom Sawyer map capability. So we have a Tom Sawyer map here. So let's go ahead and select this particular headquarters. You see, I clicked here. It also took me to that space in the drawing view. And we're going to expand. So see, we have an item here on the toolbar. So we'll expand. And then there we see that combined logical view as well. So we can see what is the piece of the IT network in that particular physical location. So we have that advanced interaction. And then, of course, the synchronized view over here as well, and the drawing view, and the summarization of what's going on with our network here in our chart below. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's go on to our seventh data view type, which is timeline. So we're going to go to our big data and Twitter analysis example, and we're going to explore what do you do when the data is changing over time. And so there's several ways to handle data that's going over time. In fact, we have a blog article on that. How do you visualize and interact with graphs as they're changing over time? Well, let's take a look here what we do. So we're going to use our timeline view, which is here at the bottom. And you'll see that we have this bar here. I am going to bring this bar back to the left. So we're going backwards in time. We're going to take an earlier view of this particular network. So you see as I drug that bar back toward the left that we had some drawing elements that disappeared from the screen because now we're looking at an earlier point in time, what was happening in this particular graph. Okay, now there's several things that we can do with the timeline view. We call them play right, play left, play both. So first we're going to do play right, meaning that we're going to have this show us what's happening over time, what gets added to our graph. So I'm going to press the play button and we're going to see our graph grow and evolve over time. Let's take a look. So we see our graph changing over time, and you can see our bar chart is also updating down below all at the same time. Good. Now, what if we need to see the opposite? Let's say that we're looking at a system where information gets old and we don't want to see it anymore. So we want to take data that's aged out and remove it from our visualization. So we can do that with play left. So I'm going to press play left side. And so we know which type of timeline we're working with here. So we're doing play left side, and then I'm going to press the play button. And now we're going to watch the old information disappear from the graph. So we're going to be getting rid of that information that we no longer need from the visualization. So when you use the timeline view, you can use the time unit that you need. So maybe you need something that is a week long or maybe an hour long. You get to choose when you use perspectives and you get to build how the timeline view will work and exactly which kind of data that you're going to see. So you can match the application to your use case. Okay, now there's this part of the timeline that uses something called play both. What is play both? Sometimes you don't need to see the graph growing over time or shrinking over time. but instead you need to see a snapshot. What happened on a particular day or a particular week or a particular hour? This is taken care of by our play both capability. So I'm going to choose down here, play both sides. And now we're going to press play. And we're going to see over the different times what happened on a particular day. We'll play. There's the first day, second day, third day, fourth day, and so on. Good. So now we've looked at those 7 data visualization types. Next, we're going to look at an example in Perspectives Designer, and we're going to add search capability. So we're going to take a look at our international flights example. Okay, so here is our application. Here we have a tree view over here with that's showing us particular airports. We have our map view. This is an open street map view, as we were mentioning a little bit earlier. So we have our markers and our polylines connecting those markers. We have our drawing view showing us the airports and how they're connected. This is our bundle layout, by the way. So you can see at a glance here very quickly what is Honolulu connected to. So very quickly you can determine Honolulu is connected to these airports here, and then you can see which other airports it's connected to very quickly by seeing where do we have the edge turn off of our other edge here. So you can very quickly see a lot of information summarized when you use bundle layout. And then down here in our other view, we have the chart view. So first we want to go in and add search to our application. So let's go ahead and put a search element up here to the right side. Let's go to Perspectives Designers. So this is our low code development platform. And so this is where you define what's in the application, what's your data sources, how you connect to them, what's the appearance of your nodes. Everything is defined here. And so you can again see more information on our YouTube channel about how all of these parts of the designer work. And so, just very quickly, we have here where we're going to define, what does the schema look like for this particular application. We can take a quick look here that we have airports and routes between them. And these model elements, they have, a particular set of attributes. That's all defined here in our schema editor. Then we have our integrator where we're actually connecting to the data. And of course, we can use many, many different types of data from graph databases to SQL to Excel to JSON to RESTful endpoints and more. Then we have our drawing templates, which is going to show how will the graph visualization look like in the drawing view, or in this case, we're using airplane shape nodes. All of that is defined here in our drawing template. Then we are doing, if we were doing graph and analysis in this application, but we're not, but if we were, we would have it here in the graph and analysis section. And then we have the definition of our views. So we were just looking at those when we looked at the preview of the application. So we had our map view, we had the tree view listing the airports, we had that chart view at the bottom, and then we had the drawing view. Okay, now let's go and add a search to that drawing view. So first, we need to define a search. So we're going to open up search here on the right side, and we're going to say add a new search. So we're going to call this an airport search. And it's going to ask us to pick a domain. So what is a domain? A domain is a filter on the model. So when you have a graph model, which can be very, very large, and you can have many thousands or even millions of elements, you need to be able to get to certain parts of the model quickly. So the domains help us with that. The domains are a filter to get us to a particular part of the model quickly. So in this case, we just need those airport elements because we're searching for a particular airport. So we're going to pick the airport domain. And we're going to go ahead now and define the search. Okay, so what is it that we're searching for? So we're going to open our expression builder. And here you're going to see those elements that we just saw in the schema editor. What is it that we're searching on? We're searching on the name because we want to find a particular airport. So I'm going to double click name. It's going to pop up here in our expression builder and I click OK. That's all we need here. That's all we need to search for a particular um, airport. So then what is it that we want to show in the search box? The same thing that we're typing, so I'll leave that unchanged. And then the display category. So the display category gives context to the results. So let's again open our expression builder. This is what we saw before, but this time we're going to pick country. So in our search results, we'll see a particular airport, the name, and which country it's located in. So I'm going to press OK and then OK again. So our search is now defined. We have an ability to set some preferences here if we wanted to have a maximum number of results displayed, for example, but we're going to take the defaults here. Okay, so we have defined search. Now we need to add it to the drawing view. So we're going to go to drawing and behavior and then toolbars because we had a default toolbar that was already defined. We just need to add something to it. So here's that listing where we're able to define and configure the elements that are on our toolbar. We just want to add something. We want to add the search to the right part of the toolbar. So I'm going to click items and I'm going to say add search field. And it's going to say, well, which kind of search do you want to use? Well, that's airport search. That's what we just built here a moment ago. So we do that. And let's go ahead and we're going to put it on the right side. And that's all there is to it. And we're going to click OK. And then we can see here at the end of our toolbar, there's that search that we just added to the toolbar. Let's go take a look. Okay, so I'm going to press our web preview button, and now there is our search that we just added to our application. So let's go ahead and search for Phoenix. So you see here, it popped up our search results. We only have one Phoenix. It's located in USA. So I'm going to select that. And it's going to take us right there to in the drawing view and also in our map view over here. Okay, very good. Now, wouldn't it be nice if we could select an airport and right click and bring up an inspector to tell us more information about the airport? Let's go do that. That's called an invocable dialog. So we're going to go over here back to designer and we're going to add an invocable view dialog to show an inspector. So I have before today's webinar defined another view to define an inspector. And so we're going to go ahead and add that here in an invocable view dialog. So I'm going to select context menu here in our drawing view, and we're going to add an item. So I've selected global here because that means you can click anywhere in the drawing view on the canvas or in a node or an edge and say, give me more information about this element. So I'm going to say here, select, and then we are going to add an item. So you can see here in the designer how easy it makes for us to add actions to our application. We have many types of actions that we can add by clicking and doing just a little bit of configuration. So today we're going to add a view dialog. So we're going to press OK. And let's see, so we're just going to say, well, these are just show details. And it's going to say, well, which name do you want me to which view do you want me to pop up in our new dialog box? We want it to use the inspector view. And then the text. What is it that we want to show in that context menu? So we want it to be show details. Okay, and we're going to press OK. All right, that's all there is to it. Let's go back to the web preview. Okay, and this time we're going to use our search and search for Portland. So we have Portland in the US. Okay, and you can see how our map view took us to that area. And I'm going to right click, and there's our new context menu with show details. So I'm going to click that, and we have our new dialog with another view in it. So here is our inspector view. So you can put any view into an invocable view dialog. Today we use an inspector. You're not limited to have it, built into the dashboard. You can have these views pop up interactively, but you could put any kind of view here. You could put another drawing view, a table view, a map view, any type of view you could put here. Okay, very good. Okay, now we're going to do one more thing while we're working with this application, and that is to update the way that we have this dashboard structured. So let's go back to our designer, and we're going to come down here to view layout. And this is where we have defined the layout of the views. And so we can add more views as we want, or we can interact with it as we'll do here now. Let's say we want to swap the map view and the drawing view. So we're going to just drag it over and it's going to switch us for us. And let's say that we wanted to make this chart here at the bottom a little bit bigger. So we're just going to drag it and we're going to make it a little bit bigger here as well. Let's go, and that is all there is to it. And let's go back to our web preview. And so with that one change, we were able to update the look of our dashboard by swapping the location of the drawing view and the map view and giving a little bit more space down here for the chart view. Okay, well, that was all that we were going to cover today in our webinar. So what we discussed today was an introduction to the 7 data visualization view types and perspectives. Those are drawings, tables, trees, inspectors, timelines, charts, and maps. We talked about the benefits of using filters and synchronization across the data visualization views. Then we had a demonstration on how to add search to your data visualization views, as well as using view layout in order to update your dashboard. You can see more information on our YouTube channel, and we're creating more videos all the time, so please check back with YouTube frequently. And you can contact us today at tomsawyer.com to start your free trial of Perspectives or to schedule a call with one of our graph and data visualization experts. We can help guide you to the best solution. So thanks for joining us today. We really appreciate your time, and we look forward to talking with you soon.